What's good, y'all? It's King Steph. We are back with a new chapter for Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 176. Chapter was definitely action heavy, just like last chapter. Things have definitely gotten a lot more heated in the Sendai colony. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Beginning, we got Takako and Yuta battling it out to open up the chapter. There was a big blast that went towards Yuta. It was kind of hard to tell exactly what it was. It was like a big blast that kind of did some rubble damage. While they were fighting in hand-to-hand combat though, Yuta's arm is actually deforming. It's kind of turning into like very flabby of some sort. But it quickly goes back to normal. There's like no pain whatsoever from it at all, he states. Yuta thinks maybe her technique is some sort of space manipulation, but she can't do damage to people with it. It's like she's creating a distortion through a lens. And Takako just outright says her technique, because remember, whenever you state your technique to an opponent, the technique will then activate quicker. She says she's turning the sky into a surface, and she actually grabs the air in this instance, and you can see the house behind them. It starts to look like a sheet of cloth or like a sheet of, and honestly, I think the technique is similar to what I thought it would be. I didn't know if she could do damage to people with this type of ability. The only thing I think of was like a warping. Maybe she could damage people with warp type ability, kind of similar to like a Kamui of some sort. But it was definitely, from my opinion, going to be something that was more evasive, because remember, she's from like a clan of assassins, so you have to imagine she can use this ability to really hide herself whenever she wants to go out and kill someone. So it kind of fits the type of role she kind of is as an assassin. She attacked Yuta in the beginning. She got past his defenses, and it felt like he was getting blown into the air. Yuta stops and questions Takako, asking, "Why are you interfering to gain points? You're stronger than that." Takako responds by saying, "You modern sorcerers think reincarnating is so easy. Why would someone not accept Kenjaku's offer? When you had regrets in your first life, this is like a second chance for us. But with Kenjaku running the games, you need to get as many points as possible." And I like this because this is giving us more depiction and a little bit of an insight onto more of why these reincarnated sorcerers are so adamant on getting points in the culling games. I just like that little bit more detail about them. Yuta asks, "Don't you have any friends or a lover or something? Even though I didn't have friends until recently, I can't understand you." Takako looks confused and annoyed by these questions. He says, "Why put in all this effort to kill people just for yourself?" And we get a small panel of a character that's vaguely shown, mainly just the back of him, and Takako says, "You're a Fujiwara, aren't you? What do you and your kin even know?" I find it interesting that she deduced Yuta's kindness yet confidence into him being a Fujiwara descendant. And I guess that the character that was shown in that panel, she obviously knows who that is. And the way she kind of speaks of him, she definitely thinks that they're kind of just as bad as her clan is. So maybe she's just surprised by Yuta saying these type of things, yet she has to know that he's from that clan. Or if anything, the person in that photo or in that little panel said something similar to her, or maybe around her. That's kind of what I'm getting at from this. But then we get a whole spread of Ishigori's Granite Blast. And this is a massive blast of cursed energy that's coming from, which I honestly should have saw this coming, his hair. Because his hair is kind of shaped like a cannon, that whole pompadour. I probably should have saw that, because there's literally an entire hole directly in there. But Yuta and Takako dodge it. But the landscape is nothing but rubble and damaged buildings. Ishigori didn't like how Takako and Yuta, in his words, were all flirting and talking, and that he's starting to starve. Yuta prioritizes Ishigori and says he should take him out first, because a direct hit from that blast will cause casualties for sure. Meanwhile, Takako plans on taking them both out now that Kurorushi and Druv are gone. Yuta runs toward Ishigori. Ishigori launches an attack that is multiple blasts of a smaller scale, but they actually can track Yuta. Yuta dodges them all nicely. In the last barrage, he escapes by diving into the hole in the pavement from his previous fight with Kurorushi. And the chapter ends with the two clashing and ready to kill each other. Alright, so overall, I think I give this chapter somewhat of like a 7.5 out of 10. Really solid, nothing too crazy that we haven't already seen or expected from when it comes to this chapter. Now, Takako's technique, definitely something I kind of was thinking would be something a little bit more of a grand scale, but it's still to a level of, okay, I can believe she can actually take out a lot of people with this. Now, I know some people don't really haven't really talked about this yet, but what grade level would she be, special grade or grade 1? I think that's really just up to seeing what she does next chapter. Me personally, that type of ability and the speed that she has, I can imagine her being a special grade. Just with the utility that ability comes with, turning the sky into a surface, hiding yourself. blending in. Even the ability to fly is another aspect apparently with this. She has a lot of utility with that. So in terms of how strong she is compared to Yuta, obviously I have no doubt that Yuta can take her out pretty easily, but we'll have to see later on what exactly she can do and what she's capable of and how she thinks she could take both of them out. Looking forward to seeing that aspect. But also one thing about her, I do like the fact that she is reincarnated with this idea of redemption for herself. I'm becoming more of a fan of some of these sorcerers just based off the things that they want to do now that they're back. I'm glad that it isn't too simple, but also not something that's too overly complicated. You'll have like a mix of sorcerers that want to come back just to test themselves strength wise or fight people, like someone like a Kashimo he's hunting Sukuna down of all people. He wants to, I guess, challenge him. I don't know how strong he is, but I mean, he's trying to hunt down Sukuna, so that's another thing. Takako wants redemption. Some are just doing it just because they just enjoyed killing and just being powerful, among others. So that's another aspect. I just enjoy that. I like that it's not all so nuanced. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Ryu's power from that one blast. He's definitely on some type of scale, extremely powerful. I don't know how great he is in close quarters, but from a long distance, he did cause some damage with that one blast, taking out a bunch of cities. Honestly, if Yuta took that head on, I don't know how much left of him there would be. So hey, Ryu is definitely up there in terms of power. He automatically comes off as stronger than all four of them. Between Druv, Kururushi, and Takako, they were in a four-way deadlock. I think that's just based off technique and how they kind of cancel each other out. But if we're talking Ryu versus Takako, I can imagine Ryu taking Takako out. Him shooting the cannon or shooting the spiritual energy, him shooting the curse energy through the cannon through his hair. Like I said, I kind of should have saw that coming from the way his hair was designed. And that's all I really got for him right now. Hopefully next chapter he does something pretty impressive, because he's built as the guy that's boasted with the most curse energy next to Yuta. So I'm hoping for something nice. And as for Yuta, I mean, he's just been doing Yuta things, I guess, the last two chapters, taking out people, dodging attacks. We see how smart he is, remembering the hole he had in the pavement. Yuta wasn't really the strongest in this chapter. This is mainly flushing out Takako, if anything. Her technique, showing off Ryu a little bit. The conversation with him and Takako was interesting. The whole coming back for yourself, I found that pretty odd. And also the Fujiwara clan stuff and the rivalry with Takako's clan as well. I don't know how far they're going to go with that, but it is something that's part of the series, and I like that was brought up. I was anticipating it being brought up, but in the fashion that it was, kind of caught me off guard. As for the next chapter, I'm expecting a whole triple threat match of some sort. They're going to try to take each other out, and I think Yuta is going to come out on top. It'll probably extend into 178. Probably like half of it being 178. I highly doubt that this entire fight will end that shortly in one chapter, and if it does, that just showcases how strong Yuta is. So that's all I really got. Let me know in the comment section down below if you enjoyed this, and also what are you expecting for the next chapter, and what did you like about this chapter. And also subscribe, like, and I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.